Welcome to the Voice of Reason Sports Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the show, leave a comment, and click that like button. Well, thanks for joining us for another edition of the Voice of Reason Sports Podcast. This is the Marvelous One, back at it again with Don and Philasophikal, ready to give our recaps and our thoughts on the playoff games that just happened. So, my team didn't make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So I kept the seat nice and warm for Don and Philasophikal to come join me. Hey guys, how y'all feeling?
Yeah.
I predicted this weeks ago, so
You predicted what weeks ago?
Well, for a first round exit,
Yeah,
a
that's
first
true.
round exit.
First round exit, yeah.
You know,
It started to
our
become a
defense did not
tradition.
play well. Yeah, our defense didn't play well. Couldn't stop the run. Saquon Barkley had a fantastic game. Daniel Jones, I will say this about Daniel Jones: that dude looked like a NFL quarterback. That dude was back there just slinging it, running around. He played well, played good, and unfortunately, Kirk Cousins again. You throw the 4th and 8 pass to a tight end in the flats. I don't get it. So we got to do
Well,
something.
I thought this was a bad matchup for y'all. Period, man. I knew once I saw the Giants were coming to Minnesota, I was just like, not a good matchup. You're talking about a really good defense. You're talking about a really good running back and Saquon Barkley, and you got a quarterback, a dual threat quarterback in Daniel Jones, right? I thought that was not a good matchup for you guys, and yeah, you guys went down, man.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, I thought Daniel Jones would cave under the pressure, but he looked really good. I mean, that was our saving grace. We needed Daniel Jones to kind of make some mistakes, man, and he didn't. So, next year, man, we're gonna have to shore up the defensive line. We've drafted nothing but offensive linemen in the first round. We're gonna have to shore up the defensive line, and we're gonna have to do something at quarterback.
So I'm glad you said that because Kirk Cousins, 31, 39, 273. That's a great game. No interceptions. It was your defense. It wasn't Kirk this time. I'm sorry.
I agree. I think Daniel Jones did you in.
He
That was
did.
the
I
difference
agree. I say he
because
had a
didn't
good game.
didn't Daniel Jones rush for like 77 yards in this game?
He did. He did. Yep.
Yeah, he ate 78 yards on
70.
17
And he was
carries.
throwing dimes. Slayton was killing us. He was throwing dimes to Slayton. Slayton was killing us.
Yeah. So
So
Don. Yeah. You got some explaining. I told you Huntley. I he is not Lamar, and I can recall one play he was running along the he got along the edge. He was trying to turn the corner as the defensive end was coming after him, and I was thinking to myself, you know what? If that was Lamar, no way that defensive end catches him.
So now
I,
you're starting to see combine speed because there's a significant difference between 4.47 and 4.2. And the 4.7 got caught, and there was an 8 yard gain. And Lamar's there 4.2, and that's 40 yards. And we in field goal range and we eating up clock and we're doing something that we always do is minimize possession because we can't act like Burrow's not a big time quarterback. So we trying to minimize his touch by killing that clock. But here's the pivotal point in that game. I mean, not to bash on Huntley. I mean, you're a backup quarterback. You're a solid backup quarterback. But being a solid backup quarterback, you got to understand your role. I think they called a great game for him. I think that once we in field goal range, you live with that and you don't try to thread things. When he made that turnover, that's they walked down the field. Defense held him, but that's a
yeah.
field goal. So that's a 6 point change over right there. And then you look at the end zone. So the center dives low and the two guards pinch in. You supposed to go low too. Bare minimum, you on the 1 yard line and we can go again for it. Or kick a field goal. But bare minimum, we eat the clock, we keep time of possession, and we make them march the field. That 14 point turnaround, because we could have scored on that and we could have killed that game because I can honestly tell you, we kept Chase under control.
Yeah.
9 catches, 84 yards. I mean, that one touchdown I got it, but that was late. And then on top of that, here's the part that a lot of people are not looking at. We stopped that run. So we had that sign, no, hey, no running on the grass. You see that sign, no running on the grass. We really meant that day. So Huntley really hurt himself. We had one interception, but that fumble right there was pivotal. Not run back for 98. I mean,
That was killer.
you put
That ended it.
yourself, yeah, that killed it because we don't have that juice to do that. And I'm not impressed with the Bengals. I've never been impressed with the Bengals. I'd be surprised if they don't blitz him all game long because that line is suspect. And they can't protect him. And guess what Burrows doesn't have? Wheels. He's not
Well,
a mobile quarterback.
it was suspect last year.
That's how he got his leg broke. So
Yeah.
I mean, you know where he at. He's sitting in the middle of the pocket, so you can fire for effect all you want. I'm not impressed with the Bengals. I mean, and I'm not saying this out of, you know, they won the game. Got it. But do I see them making a playoff run and running through everyone? It's just not going to happen. Baltimore has given everybody a taste of what Burrows is, and he's a pocket quarterback that when you give him time, he'll shred you over. But at the same time, if you give top help over the top on Chase, now you got to ask yourself, do you really want to throw that interception? Because look at who came back from Baltimore. We had Marcus Williams come back. So then and then on top of that, that fumble, guess who caused that fumble? My number one draft pick, Hamilton. So he hit that hit stick on that slap stick
Oh
when that
yeah.
got there on
Yeah.
John Madden. That's when you hit that slap stick. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
So we played solid defense. But here's the thing with Baltimore, and yes, I'm gonna allude to it and I'm gonna address it because everybody's talking about it. Should Lamar come back and play hurt? I heard Mike Vick say something about that, and that's just pure idiotic. Let me address that playing out front. You don't play hurt if you're not being properly compensated for. You will not get wifey performance on girlfriend prices. And that's what Baltimore needs to understand. Now, do you give him a huge contract? I got it, but you do give him all guaranteed, 100% guaranteed. So
Yeah.
it's there's and that's the thing that Ozzy would have done. Ozzy's not in the system no more. Ozzy understands Baltimore. Don't get me wrong, it's a business. I got it. Franchise tag, everything. But you better be careful with the franchise tag, Baltimore. Because if you franchise tag Lamar, you just and you trade and you think about trading him, you've just told everyone you gave everybody their walking papers.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually kind of disagree. I think Tyler Huntley played really well, actually. I think this was his best game. If you kind of look at the time of possession, y'all did the right thing. That's kind of the story here. You guys kept the ball out of Burrow's hands. Um, and I actually think, Burrow has done a good job this year of not having much protection and kind of stepping into the pocket, kind of running around, making, unconventional throws, right? Um, and I actually think, Bengals defense played really well. I think their defense is a lot better than last year. Um, also, J.K. Dobbins showed up this game. So I do think it was a great game plan. I just feel like that play down at the goal line did y'all in.
It
That was
was
the
those
turning
two.
point.
It was two plays: the
Yeah.
turnover, the interception, and when we was in field goal range,
Yep.
and the
Right.
playing hero ball too close to the end zone.
Right.
Those
Yeah.
two plays right there
Yeah.
really cost us the game. But I mean, hats off to Cincinnati. They stayed poised. They did what they have to do, and they put us behind the eight ball, and they closed out the game strong. So,
Yeah.
but
And
do
this
I see?
this is who they are. That's who they are, though. That's them as a team. They don't crack under pressure. They're very poised. That's their quarterback.
But a game like this is you got to expect it when you're talking about teams that play each other twice a year. And this is the third
Yeah.
game, so they
Yeah.
know each other very well, and so it was a hard fought game. That's why I'm looking forward to this Giants game against the Eagles.
Mm,
The Giants know
really.
'em. Yeah, so it's going to be
Yeah.
a good one. I'm excited
And
about that.
I don't think I
and
don't think
Jalen
it's gonna
Hurts
be a
hasn't
good one.
played. And Jalen Hurts hasn't played.
I don't think it's gonna be a good one. Here's why. Did you see how Dallas treated Tampa Bay? Dallas, for some strange reason, woke up and said, it's time to play playoff football. And yes, I got it. Tampa Bay is a bad team, but for some strange reason, Dak woke up and Dak
Oh,
said, it's time to cook. and he turned the
Yeah,
grease
but
up. I got it. Listen,
yeah.
they listen. When you only can play the opponent put before you. That's what a wise man told me that.
But did
Yeah,
you see
yeah,
what San Francisco did to Seattle though? The
but hang
same
on,
scenario.
hang on. That is a fact. Yes, Dallas put it all together. But let me tell you something. The Tampa Bay Bucks won 8 games this season and won the division. 5 of those games came in the division. They swept the Saints, they swept the
Yeah,
Falcons, and they beat
yeah,
the Panthers 1. That's 5 games out of the 8 games that they won came
yeah,
in the division. They are a bad team. And like I told Dell last week, I was like, dude, this is a layup for you. You
yeah,
lucked up getting the Bucks in the first round.
yeah,
But they
yeah,
did what they were
yeah.
supposed to do, Marv.
Oh yeah.
We can't say nothing
I
bad. I
I will
think
say
Philly.
this. I
This
will
is not
say
a
this
knock on
about
them.
I think Dallas. I think Dallas is a little bit fraud to me. They did as great as they played. They didn't run the ball well at all. Go back and look at the tape. They did not run the ball well. They
I
still
wouldn't
run it.
say that.
They still giving the ball to Zeke more than Pollard. And I mean, it was a good game. Like I said, man, Tampa Bay is a bad team, but
Yeah.
I don't. I think San Francisco is probably. This is probably going to be a blowout.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
I'm,
whoa, whoa.
Yeah, but
Hold up there. Hold up.
we was talking about Philly and the Giants. And the
Right.
only thing I was saying about that is Philly has a dominant offense and they have a solid defense. The only thing I can say about the Giants is the Giants have a pretty solid defense. But I don't think their offense, I don't think that, Jones is going to be able to create that miracle on that Philadelphia defense. I just don't see it happening.
and
I, I,
And
but
Philly has blown them out both games too, right?
but this is it's hard to beat one team 3 times in a row.
Yeah,
you,
and
you
Jalen
you
Hurts
got a
You're
hasn't
right.
played,
lot of tape on them. Now
and
the
Jalen
Giants got
Hurts
a
hasn't.
lot of tape on, so they know what works and they know what doesn't work. But let me go back to this Cowboys game because here's the thing about the Bucks. The Bucks actually have a very good run defense. So they kind of forced Dak into some of those passes, and Dak went to the tight end a lot. But Pollard had a
But he was
good game.
accurate.
They ran the
He was
ball. They
accurate.
ran
Dak
the
was,
ball 35 times for 128 yards. Pollard had 77 rushing on 15 attempts. So they had a really good game rushing the ball, man. That was
And let's not be
that,
mistaken. Let's not be mistaken that the only reason they let Zeke do a bulk of that run because they were saving Pollard because they know that he
you think
yes,
wanted to
so?
carry
You
that
yes,
think
thing.
so?
I
absolutely.
know so.
Well,
That's called management. And
yeah,
at the same
Yeah.
time, Zeke, you getting a big check. It's time for you to start earning it.
well Zeke it seems to be the short yardage runner now. Like the
Correct.
Yeah.
roles are changing here.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
with that said, I got to ask you guys. Looking back on the season, who's your team MVP? Who's the MVP on your team?
Justin Jefferson. That's obvious for us.
I think that's pretty
Obvious.
clear.
Yeah.
Not Kirk Cousins.
Uh, he should be the most traded player next year.
Don, Tyler Huntley. No,
Oh boy.
No, I would say the defense. The defense held tight. They
no.
they
Roquan
they
Smith.
they,
Give
they
me
Roquan
held
one
Smith.
tight.
player.
They held
Roquan Smith,
tight.
yeah.
Wilcon Smith,
Roquan
and
Smith.
not only that, because he allowed people to do their job
Mm.
just because he came in. Queens, you see Houston. I mean, he had guys coming out of the woodworks that were actually, getting double teamed and things that even when you talking about Pierce Paul, guy that everybody forgot about that was coming in, pinning his ears back for maybe 2 or 3 plays. Smith solidified the defense. Did he earn that check? You damn right he earned that check
I
because
will
he was freeing up Queens and other players, especially Campbell.
Y'all don't want to know who my team's MVP is?
wow.
Uh, what
Does
man?
anybody care?
What the
Jameis
guy that
Winston.
no the guy delivering the beer and the checkout stand.
The Saints got a franchise quarterback too. They just choose not to play him. They
That's
got a
true.
No,
franchise.
That's true.
They got a
no,
franchise quarterback
the
too.
guy delivering the beer that kept everybody in the seats.
Dennis Allen.
Well, I mean, I can obviously the MVPs of the team is the defense, right? The defense.
I get you that.
But if I was to name one player, it's somewhere between Chris Olave, Taysom Hill, and Cam Jordan. So,
Yeah.
but hey, that doesn't matter. we stink, and it ain't gonna make a difference next year because
Do you want to kind of
Allen's
talk
come
about the
back.
Sean Payton situation?
Yeah, well, I mean, right now you got the Cardinals in play, you got the Panthers in play, the Broncos in play.
I
All
thought
these
the
teams.
Cardinals signed Brian Flores.
What about Brian Flores?
I thought they got Brian Flores.
They haven't named the coach.
Hmm,
They're
maybe
all
wrong.
waiting to interview Sean Payton.
Okay.
So Sean Payton is he's going to start interviews this week, and so
Okay.
right now, even the Panthers are involved, and I just doubt the Saints are going to allow him to go to the Panthers and have to see Sean Payton twice a year. No, I mean the Panthers going to
So
have to
y'all
give
still
up.
own the rights to Sean Payton?
Yes, he is still
Yeah.
under
Yeah.
contract.
I'm thinking that secretly the Chargers may be talking to Sean Payton to see if he's interested, and they
No, they
fire the
can't do
coach.
that. They
Oh
got to
wow.
fire their coach first. They can't talk to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
So
I said
yeah,
secretly.
I I doubt that. I doubt it.
I doubt if they let him go to the Panthers. Maybe the Cardinals, but does he want that job?
Yeah, I think he does. To
Hmm.
work with Kyler Murray, I think he does. So I mean, that's most likely the place he's going to go because the Saints aren't going to let him go to Carolina. He ain't going to Denver. It's too cold. He doesn't like being in a cold place. He would prefer to be in Los Angeles, but there's no job openings.
Yeah.
So I think Arizona is the most likely choice for him because there's a franchise quarterback there, or a quarterback you can groom into be a franchise quarterback. At least he's been paid like one, and and you got a nice stadium there, nice ownership. I think he'd probably take that job, and I think Arizona has some draft picks that they can't give us to satisfy us. So
What about the Texans?
the
No.
Texans are also an option, but I don't think the ownership. They don't have a stable ownership or ownership, a likable ownership
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
entice him to go there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's big on that.
Yeah.
So
Unless they
okay,
gave him some power.
yeah, it's about power and it's about being somewhere where you're comfortable and you're not, you know, working with incompetent,
Yeah.
incompetent front office.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
looking at what the Texans have done over the past couple of years, I think that would be an incompetent front office.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's look at the recap. Let's look at what happened. So, so looking at the Saturday games, we had the 49ers at home against the Seahawks. The 49ers were 9.5-point home favorites. Don, me, and Dell went with the 49ers. And for some reason, Phil thought this was going to be the Seahawks' big game. Geno was going to put up 21 points. And they were going to hold the 49ers to 16. Yeah, you're pretty sassy with it. You went ahead and picked the score, too.
I did it for the Voice of Reason podcast, to be
Okay.
different,
Yeah, well,
I was the voice of reason that day,
I mean, this game wasn't close.
No, it wasn't. It
Yeah,
wasn't.
I granted the Seahawks had an amazing second half, right? Where they dropped 17 on the 49ers and
Yeah.
eventually took the lead. But I mean, in the second half, it just got out of hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But McCaffrey really has been a good pickup for them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, that
Yeah.
was a steal of a deal.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just happy that he's out of my division. So. All right. So next we had the Jags at home against the Chargers.
Wow, what a game.
What a game. Yeah,
What a game, man.
I went ahead and text Phil, and I was like, Phil, your whole prediction of the Jags and all this stuff is crazy, of nuts.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence having a breakout game. That's nuts, man. Look at the
Yeah,
Chargers whipping up on these clowns.
I left the bar. I was like, man, forget this, man. 11:30.
I believe in him. I believe that he is he's the lone star. He had his fear button is and that team believes in him.
Yeah.
If you looked at that sideline, I mean, they didn't look like a team that was like rattled or anything. They was like, okay.
Yeah. He's another quarterback that has a lot of poise. Another one. Another, taller Joe Burrow.
But that was amazing. I mean, like, the Chargers had a 27-0 lead. It was unreal. I think that's when I cut it off. I was like, Chargers got this.
I know. I did too.
Yeah. How do you screw that up?
So I see a lot of big name people are calling for their coach to be fired. I wouldn't say fired, but I think he needs to understand consideration between him and the defensive coordinator. What went wrong that you could not
Well, Don,
close out that game?
that's the funny thing. He is the defensive coordinator. He calls the defensive plays.
Oh wow, okay.
Oh, well then I concur. He has to go.
I mean, the thing is now he has to win next year.
Well, he might.
This is a
I
lot of pressure.
I don't think you give him a next year. I don't think you give him a next year. If you fired Lovey, then no coach in the league should be safe.
Well, if they fire him, I think they'll get what they want, and Sean Payton will get what he wants.
I don't think they would have fired him by now, though.
Sean Payton wants to be in Los Angeles. So, you know, you still got to get time. They got to evaluate.
They hold them team meetings with the coaches, the assistant coaches, and that's when they make the determinations on when they're going to fire him. Because right now, word out of Tampa is that Byron Leftwich is being fired.
But really? Wow.
That's sad because Tom Brady played a terrible game.
Yeah. Todd Bowles is not a good coach.
Well, but
Tom Brady's not a good quarterback.
They asked him about that, and he said that they haven't had their team meetings and stuff like that. But word on the street is that Byron Leftwich is getting fired, which I find unbelievable because just 2 years ago he was being considered
last year,
head coaching job.
Yeah.
Now he's being fired as offensive coordinator. I hope that's not true.
But that's why sometimes you gotta be careful with these older quarterbacks. Yeah. And once again, hold on, and I'm gonna kill every quarterback critic. That's what you get when you have a quarterback that is not mobile, no foot speed, and cannot, get out the pocket and grab you 5 or 6 yards. You get a Tom Brady that looks scared, timid, and look like a rookie in that pocket.
Yeah, so you're gonna fire your offensive coordinator and Brady's not gonna be there next year?
I don't think Brady was the problem. I truly believe
you don't think that. No. So once again, no. If you look at the NFL as a whole, who has the most solid line besides Dallas?
Tampa.
Their overall team this year was bad.
Hear me out. Tampa offensive line was in shambles. Right? They had the worst running game in the league. They were rated 32nd rushing the ball. They relied heavily on Tom Brady. So I can't necessarily say he was the problem. I think they didn't draft well and they got old really, really fast.
Yeah, and they're gonna be bad next year. So I think Tom Brady's probably gone. So you're gonna fire your offensive coordinator and your team's gonna be bad. They're gonna have probably number one pick next year. They're gonna be probably worst team next year.
Tom Brady threw 66 passes.
Man, what is the extra innings?
Dude, he was
in baseball. Was 13 innings.
He was 35 of 66 for 351. That's insane. Yes, and they ran the ball 12 times. That's insane, right? Yes.
Yeah. That shows you an offense with no balance.
No balance.
Well, if that's the case, do you put that on a coordinator?
I wouldn't. I think
a
they
combination.
Just need to refresh. I think they need to refresh. They need to get younger, and that was the problem.
I think so too.
Their defense is old.
Yeah.
But if you look at that offense, I got Brady checking out of some of those plays, thinking that he can make something happen when he sees something.
Their wide receivers are old.
But look, let's get back to the recap, fellas. So I want to make sure I give you credit for picking the Jags.
Oh yeah,
I was teasing you because I thought the Jags were going to lose this game.
I thought they were done too.
So Dale and I had the Chargers winning this game. For a minute there, we were right.
For a
minute. But the Jags came back, won the game. Don and Phil picked the Jags. All right, let's go to the Sunday games. So now we had the Bills, who were 9.5-point home favorites against the Dolphins. We all went with the Bills. We all thought the Dolphins had no chance. But the Dolphins actually put up a pretty good fight in this game. I was pretty impressed with them.
Which scares me about the Bills.
Yeah, they had no business being in this game. But once again, like I say,
It's hard to play a team 3 times in a season. This is a division rival, and when you play them for that third time, you know them, they know you. You know what works, you know what doesn't work. So I think that all kind of factors into this game, and we should have known it was going to be a tight one.
I kind of disagree with that, and here's why. When you have dynamic weapons that can create that separation, I think that, and you dummy down. When I say dummy down, maybe that's a wrong way of saying it, but if you change the playbook to the quarterback strength, that's when you saw, Thompson starting to make throws and start to, channel some of that comeback that gave the Bills the scare of their life. So that they're doing the same thing that San Fran did, but they're doing it even better because San Fran has a better defense. You're changing the offense for the quarterback, not an offense for your team. No, that quarterback is the person that has to move the ball around the field, and you design it towards their strengths.
and I agree with you. I thought the game plan early on by the Dolphins, when using Thompson, was effective early on. But in that second half, it looked like the Bills had figured them out. The Bills were on top of them. They picked them off twice in that second half, and I was like, "Oh, okay, they're on to it. They know what's coming." So, but like you said, I thought the Dolphins had a good game plan. That showed a lot with their coaching. To me, when you got out there with your third string quarterback in a big playoff
Game on the road, and you put up a pretty good fight like that tells me about your coaching.
Yep. I
Okay,
agree.
so we all went with the Bills on here. Next, we had the Vikings at home against the Giants. This was my bold pick. Vikings with 3-point home favorites. Surprisingly, Phil went with this pick as well. He went with the Giants.
Yep.
Phil and I got this right. I like I told you when we talked about this last week, I thought this was a bad matchup for the Vikings.
Yeah.
I thought the Giants were up and coming team. I know I'd said all throughout the season I didn't think they were ready. I think they're ready now.
I'm ashamed to hear that Phil picked against his own team. I'm ashamed that we even have to air this out.
I knew what was
Because-
happening. I knew it was
Because
coming.
I
knew
know
what
that
happened.
Phil, you may not be able to go back home after this.
But like I told you, I think this was
was
I
part
may
of
not.
Phil's strategy here. His strategy was, to go against his team so he didn't jinx him. He's been doing that all season long, and every time they would win, he was like, "Oh well, I thought this was going to happen. I thought they were going to string it up, but Kirk Cousins he just keeps surprising me. He just wanted to be surprised. That's all." All right, next we had the Bengals at home against the Ravens. Yeah. Don and I went with the Ravens. I only went with the Ravens because I thought Lamar was going to play.
I knew Lamar was gonna play. I knew it.
At the time, it wasn't clear whether or not he was going to play. If I had known he wasn't playing, I would have went with the Bengals. Now, Don, he probably still would have went with the Ravens.
Yeah, I would have went, and rightfully so,
Feelings over
because
facts.
no, it's not feelings. The Bengals are not that good. The Bengals are not that good.
Well,
Let's
they're
go
better
to-
than the Ravens.
Yes, if you continue to make mistakes, yes, you can capitalize on mistakes. But I don't think that the Bills are going to make that mistake. That's going to be the difference in next week's game, is that you're not going to see Bills make mistakes. If Lamar was there, he's not going to make those mistakes. And I had us actually blowing them out. And even with Huntley there, we spotted you with those turnovers. We spotted you 14 points. So 24-17, if you take the 14 points off, you're looking at 10-17. But I digress.
Well, like I told you before, and like I told you throughout the season with the Saints, bad teams find a way to lose. Period. And I don't care how many points you go up. You saw it with the Colts. They went up big on the Vikings. Some kind of way, they found a way to lose that game. And you scratching your head. How the hell do you lose a game when you up 33-0 in the first half, or whatever the number was? Yeah, bad teams find a way to lose. And when you
First of all, let me go ahead and correct that. Baltimore's not a bad team. We just had bad. There's a difference between bad team and bad execution.
No. With Tyler Huntley at quarterback, you're a bad team.
As you can see, bad execution. It's not a bad team. The defense was solid.
Bad
Defense was
execution.
solid.
However you want to flip the words around. Bad execution.
The
Bad
Saints
team.
are a bad team. The
Yes.
Ravens had bad execution. There's a difference. We're talking about two plays that decided the game.
Okay. What is your record without Lamar? Oh, okay. It's losing. I know.
And let's be honest. So
Oh.
no. Let's address that. I hate the fact that I would actually say this, but I do mean it. I kind of didn't want to win that way because it would have gave the false pretenses that you can move on without Lamar.
Yep.
And it would skew the argument.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
and had people talking crazier than what
Yeah.
they're talking right now.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
I agree. I thought it was crazy when I kept hearing people saying Tyler Huntley gives you the same thing Lamar gives you. I was like, no, he doesn't. He doesn't give you 4.2 speed. Ain't even close.
He doesn't give you a +10 on offense.
Yeah, it doesn't give you a +10 on offense, on the ability to improvise.
And the offense and the defensive coordinator slept good.
Yeah, he did. Next slide. Buccaneers, Bucks at home against the Cowboys. Cowboys with 2.5-point road favorites here. Dale and I went with the Cowboys. Phil and Don went with the Bucks. Cowboys won this game. I thought this was easy. I get to see the Bucks year round. So like everyone knows, my wife is a Bucks fan. So I see the Bucks. I know how bad of a team they are. So I saw the Cowboys winning this game. And this is not to say that the Cowboys are really good. This is just to say that the Bucks are really bad. And the Cowboys were able to blow them out. So
playing Tuesday morning quarterback, Tom Brady looks like he wants to go home.
He might be ready, man. All right, well, Phil, Dale and I went 4-2. Don went 3-3 for the playoffs.
Man, I continue my winning ways, man, into the playoffs. You know, I continue my winning ways into the playoffs, man. I mean, jeez, man, man.
Oh my God! All right, let's go to your predictions for the divisional round.
Oh yeah. Don, don't try to steal my picks this week, man.
well, you know, Phil been stealing my picks. That's why we both.
Well, you don't have a chance to go against your Vikings, so maybe this will be fair.
Yeah, I know.
All right. First game's up. We got the Saturday game at 4:30. We have the Chiefs at home against the Jaguars. The Chiefs are 8.5-point home favorites. Yeah. Jags have been, putting in work all season long. Every time I pick against them, they win. But I think you're going up against the big bag dog here. Chiefs win. I got the Chiefs. Phil.
I've been going back and forth about this. I've been going back and forth about this, and I think this game's going to be closer than advertised, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
I thought for a second that you were going with the Jags. Go with the Jags, man.
I don't want to bet against Mahomes, but I'm gonna go.
I promise you, the defensive coordinator for the Jags ain't sleeping well.
I know.
Dude is not sleeping well, having nightmares, waking up. Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Clutching his chest. Yeah, nightmares. All right. Don, who you got?
I'm going with the Chiefs. I don't think the Jags are too young. I think the Chiefs know how to win, even though they have a terrible defense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think however this season ends for the Jags, which I think it will end here, we can all say the Jags had a great season. And they got a lot to build on. They surprised a lot of people. They surprised me, even though I think they creeped into the playoffs because the division fell apart. The Titans.
That's not on the Jags. That's
not on the Jags. No, I don't blame the Jags, but I believe that's how they got in.
And they had two of the worst teams in the NFL in that division.
Well, they got one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Yeah, well, Texans are right behind them.
No, I'm kidding. The Colts are a bad team, but not the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you were close. All right, the next Saturday game, we have the Eagles at home against the Giants. This game is at 8:15 p.m. Eagles are 7.5 point home favorites. This is a tough one here for me. I like the Giants' chance against the Eagles. I thought the Eagles have been getting shaky towards the end of the season, but I like the Eagles because they had that bye and they're going to come out fresh and they're going to come out swinging. And I think that momentum in the beginning of the game is going to hold towards the end. They're going to take a nice, a sizable lead in the beginning. The Giants will be coming back, getting back into the game. It's going to go back and forth, and the Eagles going to stand. They're going to be the last one standing, maybe by 3 points or 1 point. So I got the Eagles winning this game over the Giants. Who you got, Phil?
This is my bold pick here.
Okay.
I'm going to pick the Giants here. Jalen Hurts hasn't played. The team looks a little shaky.
Mm-hmm.
Injuries across the board. Defensive line is a little shaky. Giants defense, man, they this is going to be a close game. I think it'll be about 24-17, somewhere around there, 24-20, 24-21, somewhere around there. I got the Giants on this.
Well, 24-17 isn't close, but yeah, I got you. I kind of went back and forth. I like the Giants too, but I just think,
I like the Giants, man. Jalen Hurts hasn't played, and
yeah,
that team
but
is looking shaky right now.
they're looking shaky, but you know how it is. They're gonna come out with that energy. I think they're gonna come out with the energy
I
in the
hope
beginning.
so. I hope so. I
So
hope I'm hoping I'm kind of wrong on this.
you know, you're gonna have Kevin Hart out on the field. You know, you're gonna have Rocky. You know, they're gonna get themselves hyped for this game. They're
Yeah,
gonna start out
yeah,
strong. Who you
yeah.
got, Don?
Man, it's a no-brainer. Philly, I think Philly's gonna wake up, and I think they will probably blow the Giants out because they're gonna put a lead together, and then
Ooh.
if they give 2 touchdowns, the Giants are not made to run down the field like that. They're eat the clock team. The game is close. They stand a chance. But if it gets up 14 points and the possibility of going up 21,
Hmm.
this game can get real ugly, San Fran-ish.
Well, I can see the Eagles winning this game, but I just don't see a blowout. I just can't
I
see a
don't either.
blowout
I
Like I
don't
against a.
said
either.
before,
I
the
can't see a
I don't
Giants are
blowout
either.
not built to
against
come
a.
from behind.
I just can't see a blowout of a division opponent. That's my point. An opponent that you're playing for the third time. I mean, think about it. I mean, they've blown the Giants out. The first game they beat the Giants 48-22 back in December on December 11th,
Hold
and
on,
they pl-
pause. Hold on, pause. And the reason they beat them that way, if you look at the column and look at the quarters, they got their head real big,
yeah,
and the Giants had to throw away. And
yeah,
now their most dominant weapon, which is Barkley, is not a factor.
okay. But Don, the last game against the Giants was 22-16. Now,
Yeah,
granted, I don't believe Hurts played this game. Let me find out. I think this was the
I don't
last game
think
of the
so.
season. Yeah, that's right. The Daniel Jones didn't play in this game.
Mm,
Yeah, Hurts did play, but
okay.
this was the last game of the season, so it was kind of meaningless.
Yeah.
So, but just the fact that they're playing each other for the third time, they know each other. I think is going to keep it close. I agree with you. I think that the Eagles going to go up big in that first half, but I think the Giants are going to come back and make it close.
The Giants are not
And
designed to cover a big lead, Marv. I just don't see them as having that offense. I see them as a clock controlling, solid defense, eating up the clock. And now we play 3-7 game.
Mm,
3.7, and we're playing tennis back and forth. If they are down 14 points with a possibility of 21 to 17 points,
hmm
this game can get flipped out. And like I said before, it can go from Seattle to San Fran. Like this game shouldn't have been played.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's move on to the next one. I'm going to talk about Don's other favorite team. We got the Bills at home against Don's favorite Bengals team. The Bills are 5 point home favorites. Keep in mind, this is the Sunday game at 3 o'clock in
Yeah.
Buffalo. So, yeah, this is a tough one here. I mean, yeah, I like I like what the Bengals are doing, but they didn't look good against your Ravens. That's the thing that's embarrassing. They did not look good. So, but the Bills didn't look good against the Dolphins.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Nope.
So this is my bold pick here. I'm going with the Bengals here. I'm going with the
Good
Bengals.
pick. That's a good pick. You stole my pick.
I saw your pick.
Yeah, I think Josh Allen's been hurt all season.
Mm.
They have not looked good. The defense has been very shaky. They can't run the ball.
Yep.
I'm picking the Bengals too.
Yeah.
I've been on this Bengals train, so I'm picking the Bengals too.
Yeah, I think the fact that they can't run the ball, they're struggling to run the ball. The Bills are struggling to run the ball. That's going to hurt them.
You
So,
can't throw the digs every play.
well, they like to throw it deep, like, and I get
Yeah.
it. Josh Allen can do it. So, but
Yeah.
it just wasn't working. And I think in these conditions,
Yeah.
weather conditions, that affects that. All right, Don, who you going with? The
And
Bills,
and
man.
the
He's
Bengals are
rolling
better
his
than
eyes.
Dolphins.
Lies, 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 lies. There's
Who
no
you got?
way.
No way. Bengals not
It's no
winning?
way.
Wow.
No way.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
It's no way.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Who
So,
has who has the better run game? Since it's gonna be cold, there's some snow on the ground.
mm-hmm.
Who has the
Bengals.
better run game?
That's a
Bengals.
good question.
No. You gotta be kidding me.
You think the I mean, with Josh Allen running the ball, yes, the Bills have the better run game with Josh Allen running.
I'm gonna tell you like this. I think the Bills will blow this game out of proportion real
Ooh.
quick.
Wow.
And I think Cincinnati. So the Bills are designed to win. They
Yeah,
did
Wow.
they're designed to win. They're a tough team and they play
Wow.
tough. And I think Baltimore gave them the blueprint when they saying put one over the top. And now you got to ask yourself with the lack of traction due to the inclement weather and probably having some snowflakes on the ground. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know what? You know what? I think I'm gonna change my pick,
Oh, wow.
and here's why.
Wow.
Here's why. Here's why. I said it from the beginning of the season. What did I say? Bills are going to the AFC Championship game.
Wow.
I
Wow.
said it.
Okay.
I'm sticking to that. I said they will go to the AFC Championship game. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back on it. I'm gonna go with the Bills, and it's not
Nah,
because
no,
Don said it.
but here's the thing, Marv. I'm gonna add something else to it. The emotion in that building is going to be overwhelming, and
Yeah,
I don't think Cincinnati understands that they are playing for one of their brothers,
yeah.
and that energy right there is
What?
gonna be just too much.
I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm thinking in the sense that Bills fan base, they want a Super Bowl badly.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So the fans are gonna be
So the Jim
behind it,
Kelly Buffalo
man.
Bills.
Hey,
they want a Super Bowl, dude. I think it's their year. I
their
think it's their.
fan base, they're
I
gonna
don't
make
think
it
it's
to
there.
the championship game. That fan base is gonna be incredible, man. There's gonna
Yeah,
be so much energy in that building.
I agree.
Cincinnati is not gonna be able to call plays, man.
I agree.
I hope they practicing their hands and arm signals because everything is gonna be hand and arm signals the whole duration of that game.
I think it's.
For the Bills, people are going to go home horse, man. It's going to be
Yeah,
crazy there.
I think it's gonna be crazy. I agree. I think this is feelings over facts. I question a lot of the things that the Bills are doing, but I think they got something else working for them, and I think they got a lot of emotion from Hamlin to the city of Buffalo needing this. They got a new stadium coming. You know, I it might be their time. I don't I if they win this game, I'm not sure where I'm going with the Chiefs and the Bills playing each other. I don't know if I would pick the Bills over the Chiefs.
Man, if
But
Hamlin is anywhere in that stadium, they're going to lose it.
well, I think he already addressed the team. But yeah, he might be in that stadium. They're gonna lose it. It's gonna
Yeah.
be a lot of emotions there.
They show him on that jumbotron. Even if they just show him on the
Yeah,
jumbotron, it's gonna go coconuts, man.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Let's look at the next pick. I think this is probably going to be the easiest one we can make.
Yep.
So we got the 49ers at home against the Cowboys. And surprisingly, the 49ers are 3.5 point home favorites. I thought they would have been more. This is the 6:30 p.m. game on Sunday. Yeah, I'm going with the 49ers. I don't think the Cowboys have a snowball chance in hell of winning this game. So, yeah,
49ers. Don.
49ers for me. I don't need to explain it. Why?
Did I say Don or did I say Phil?
You
I
said
think I
Phil.
said I did say Phil. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
no. You said you
No,
said
you said
Don,
Don.
but
I
yeah,
did.
you
I
said
thought I
Don.
said Don. Yeah.
Phil, we got his Rick James on today, habitual line crosser. But moving on to
Oh,
what
man.
you just asked. Uh, I'm going with the 49ers strong, and I see them exposing every flaw in the Dallas Cowboy. And
I
when I
agree.
say and from play calling to coaching to the GM, you're going to see a team that's going to execute on all sides of the ball. And I don't think Dallas is ready. And I don't think Michael Irvin is going to be ready to talk to have a conversation with me about why his team lost.
Mm. Yeah, well, we're gonna have to have that conversation with Dell too. But surprisingly, Dell probably is gonna pick the 49ers. He didn't feel comfortable playing the Bucks. And I'm like, dude, this is a layup for you. You're playing the Bucks. They're bad. So I don't know. I'll have to get with him to see what his confidence level is against the 49ers. It should be pretty low. Because the 49ers, like Phil has been saying, the defense is nasty, and Purdy has shown to be solid.
Yeah.
I like his tenacity too. So
I like the fact that the team believes in him. I think that the wide receivers believe in him, and the offense is designed for him.
mm-hmm,
And Dallas' secondary is a little shaky.
yeah, they took some injuries. They took
Yeah.
on some injuries. They had a big injury against the Bucks. So yeah, you're gonna be playing against a corner that hasn't had a lot of reps out there.
If Dallas do a lot of 3-and-outs, I got their defense being marginalized due to the fact that they're going to get gassed.
They're going to get to Dak.
Yeah.
That defense is
The
good.
49ers, they're going to get to him.
That's
Dak
gonna
going to
be
make
the
his
that's
money.
gonna that's gonna be the difference maker is that football team is gonna be fighting from their back the whole game.
Yeah, and I hope that the cameraman catch Jerry Jones in his suite this time. 'Cause all throughout
Him
the
and
game,
Michael
because
Irvin
well,
instead of high five and
all,
crying on each other's
all
shoulders.
throughout the Bucks game, every time the Cowboys scored, he was kissing his
Yeah.
wife and high fiving his
Yeah.
grandson and all of this stuff. It's like, how many times we gonna see this foolishness?
That was just 100 million just entering in his bank account every touchdown he's going. That's all
I
that.
guess.
That's all
Yeah.
that was.
I need to get those face shots of when his team getting destroyed.
He's sitting in his chair.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. All right, listeners, thanks for joining us again. We do this every week. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. We'll catch you next week.